previous bull runs, the last one being from 2000 to 2010, which lasted a decade, I think this one probably has no ending until we have a new monetary system. So I think this is the final run, but it's not a final run where you can say it will hit a certain price. It keeps going until we don't have the currency which we use to buy gold anymore, and that effectively means that if you ask what the price will be, you'll be asking what the price will be in what will become eventually a defunct currency. 3 days ago, as it touched the $35 level precisely, within seconds, I'd got a message out on LinkedIn to all my followers. I've got about 15,000 followers saying silver has just broken the $35 level a few seconds ago, and this is the level that everybody has been watching because we've all been waiting for it to break $35. And when it does break $35, psychologically, everybody's turning bullish and buying it above the $35 level. And I wrote that about half an hour later, when it was at $35.50, I wrote it could get to $36 pretty quickly. And I think we did that the same day, if not the following day. And now we're pushing on $37. I'm seeing on the futures $37.01. I imagine it's slightly below that on the spot market. So yes, Stuart, what do I think is going to happen? I think we're in new territory. I think it will go a lot higher. I've been talking about the supply deficit of silver, where less silver has been mined for several years than is being used in industrial uses. The biggest increase of use in silver is from the electrical industry, where consumption of silver continues to rise rapidly because components in electricity are getting smaller and smaller. So that doesn't actually mean you need less silver. It actually means you need more silver, because the smaller the component, the more reliable you need the electricity conduction to be. And so silver is going into more and more products, micro products, to ensure that they're reliable. And in some cases they're putting gold, but that's another story. That's not affecting the gold price. So we're in a situation where that deficit of silver globally is set to continue rising as mine production continues falling, consumption continues rising, widening the deficit, and that difference has to be met from recycling. So whenever silver has a spike, the recyclers will always come out of the woodwork. You know, people with coin collections, bar collections, silver candlesticks, they will turn up and they will try and sell some, but usually there's a bit of a lag. So I think we probably do continue a little bit higher for a few days before we get to a pause. Will we touch $40? I think there's probably about 30% chance that we could do it in the next couple of weeks. Well, whilst we've seen record central bank buying last year and also at the start of this year, we saw yesterday, as China brought out its numbers, that they've been cutting back on their gold purchases. I think it's the number of ounces they bought in the last 3 months has gone down from 160,000 to 90,000. Then I think it was 70,000. I think the latest one is 60,000 this month, in the month of May. Now, it could be that they're just showing price sensitivity. You know, it is at an all-time high as far as the Chinese are concerned. Or it could be that they are buying a lot and only telling us about a little bit they're buying to kind of store some silver under the table so as not to spook store some gold under the table so as not to spook the gold market, so they can keep acquiring gold. If we do have another type of Bretton Woods agreement forced on us by some sort of currency meltdown, distrust of the currency, then whoever's got the most gold will be calling the shots. And you kind of want to have something in reserve which you're not telling everybody about. So it could be that China's secretly acquiring gold, which we don't, I can't say they are or not. There's a lot of speculation they are. But right now, with the official numbers showing they're buying less gold, that's obviously making the market sit back and say, well, perhaps they're not going to buy any more, or maybe they'll buy less. But I think gold remains well supported, nevertheless. The delivery notices in them, I haven't got the latest numbers for June because I haven't looked at it yet, but the delivery months in the months of January, February, March, April and May for gold and silver actually were massively ahead of the same months in the previous year. In fact, by mid-May, the number was 700% above mid-May, or not the whole of May, for the previous year. So that was the 100-ounce bars of gold, which are, if you like, $350,000 or $330,000 each. So somebody is taking huge deliveries of 100-ounce bars, which was never, that sort of level of delivery was never seen before, because traditionally COMEX was a futures market where people would get to the spot month and they'd roll their spot month into the future, whether they were long or short. For those institutions which were short, such as bullion banks and so forth, the way they would play the game would be to own spot gold, and sell it 3 months forward or 1 month forward, where you get a premium price, and then because they've got the gold at the spot level, as the gold they've sold on a forward basis reaches the spot month, they then resell it for 3 months forward, continually collecting what's called the contango. The contango is the difference between the spot price and the future price. The future price generally trading at a premium to the spot. So that was the kind of market it was. But something changed this year, from about January this year, when people started to take, instead of rolling their contracts forward, they were taking delivery of that gold and removing it from the exchange. Why were they doing that? Was it that somewhere in the shadows there's a major buyer? And if so, who is it? We don't know. I mean, there's lots of speculation as to who it could be. And I can throw a few names around just saying it's speculation, but there is no plausible rumor as to who it could be. But it could be a foreign government who's acquiring gold because they don't have enough. Or let's say Mexico or China, for example. Well, probably not China, because China would buy through London, I think. But let's say Mexico or Canada. Maybe it's Berkshire Hathaway. I think that despite what everyone thinks that Warren Buffett thinks about gold, he does come from a background with his family, his parents' family, who were sort of very much in favor of gold and very much against America going off the gold standard. And of course, Warren Buffett has had his forays into silver. Now he's retired and there's a new guy in charge, so we don't know that. But obviously, he could have been a big buyer of gold. Then who else could it be? Well, it could be some people have mooted that it might be the U.S. government itself acquiring gold, because perhaps the US is going to go back onto a gold-backed dollar. Obviously, it can't be a gold-backed dollar at the present price. It would have to be a gold-backed dollar at a much higher. The historical price was $42 an ounce. It can't go back on $42 an ounce, but it could go back at $3,500 or $4,000. But that doesn't mean to say it would go back onto a gold standard where everybody can turn in their dollars and get gold. They wouldn't have enough. So what would they have to do if they go back onto a gold standard? They'd have to go back onto a gold standard with a gold-backed dollar, whereby the ability to convert your existing dollars into gold-backed dollars is severely restricted. You might be able to convert $500 worth or $1,000 worth or $10,000 worth, but there's no way you could convert all the dollars which exist into a gold-backed dollar, because it just isn't enough gold. But obviously, if they got more gold, it would mean that everybody could convert a little bit more old dollars to new dollars, and that would be some sort of currency reset. If they did that, of course, it would solve the national debt problem, because the debt would be left behind in a currency which is no longer allowed to be used in the economy, because they'd be forcing people to pay their taxes in gold-backed dollars, and shopping in gold-backed dollars, and everything else. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. It's just a speculative theory. I mean, it could be we might get another currency in the form of central bank digital currencies. We might get ration coupons. That's a kind of another currency as well. We don't know what's coming.